Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. How are we this afternoon? I am here. I need to wash my hair, is what I need to do. I've been putting it off because I knew I was going I should have washed it yesterday, but I knew I was going jogging today, and I hate the idea of going jogging or washing my hair when I know I'm going to be working out and getting sweaty because then I have to wash my hair again, and I'm having to wash it twice in 2 days, and I try not to do that typically. Anyways, welcome, welcome to Sprints. We are here. We are going to try and attempt to be productive. I do have so sprints are going to be a little different today because we're going to do like an hour sprint for the first one, and then I think the next one will be a little bit truncated because I do have to be somewhere. The timing is going to be a little bit wonky because I have to sign in for something at 5, but it's only going to take like 30 minutes. So it's like I can stop trying to get me to update things, Google. It's one of those things that I can. It's supposed to take less than an hour, so I should be able to get it done in a sprint. Just has to be done at a specific time. So, anyways, what is everyone up to today? I am going to be trying. I need to work on some stuff for the channel. I know I am behind on summer reading challenge stuff. I for real thought I had posted it and then realized I hadn't. So I saw that there's stuff in the chat and I'm afraid to go in that chat and because I know there are going to be people like, Margaret, where are the badges? Where are the graphics? And I'm so sorry because I thought I'd already done it and it completely slipped my mind because it's done. It just has to be posted into the Discord. And I started that message, but I didn't finish it. So I'm going to go do that. Hello, Ro. I'm seeing Spider-Man tonight. I want to see it yesterday, but sold out every screen this weekend is sold out at my local theater. Nice. That's good for the movie, at least. Not so great for you. I haven't seen Spider-Man yet. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters, just because number one, I haven't seen the movie before it, and number two, I don't typically, although it is Spider-Man, and he's my favorite from Marvel. So there is that. There's a part of me that wants to go see it. I'm gonna go try and see the Odyssey. I'm going back and forth between whether or not I want to go see Odyssey. I don't go see a lot of movies because most of my movie friends, we don't talk anymore. But I'm considering going to see the Odyssey because it is something that I know I will like. And I do tend to kind of like Christopher Nolan's work. I know there's some critiques of what he has to say. But I do tend to like his stuff, like the Dark Knight trilogy, quintessential. Like that is Batman to me. There's issues with it. But it's such good Batman. It's such good Batman. Honestly, I haven't seen it in like 10 years. Maybe I should watch it and see if it is. That might make interesting content. Not for here, but anyways. And then I might go see Spider-Man when things calm down. I did just go see Hadestown yesterday at like noon. It was me and like 5 other people, which, okay, guys, so I'm going to get to this. I promise I will get y'all. I go to Hadestown. I order a ticket that's like right smack dab in the middle. I am the only person in that row. The row behind me is empty. The 3 rows ahead of me is empty. Tell me why. These 2 people purchased tickets right next to me. It was me and like 2 other people in the back. Most of the theater is empty. Why did they do that? Right next to me. Like not even a seat over, right directly next to me. I was like, oh my God. Anyways. Hello, Glinda. Welcome. Happy first day of August. Yes. Hi, Jess. Just came in from brushing the doggo. Gotta do laundry at Nana's house this weekend. I understand that. I'll be in and out today. Very nice. Very nice. Jess is saying this so I won't send her a text going, hey, you want to pop on today? Because she knows that that's coming if I see people in my comments. I see certain people in my comments. I'll be like, hey, if you want to hop on, you can. Hello to Neil. How are you today? What you up to? I just did some chores, so I think I'll finish today's pages of Pride and Prejudice. Very nice. Okay, you've read this before. I'm pretty sure you've read Pride and Prejudice before, right? 90% certain. I could be wrong though. I could be thinking of anyways. Have you read Jane Austen before? Now I am questioning myself. What are you thinking if it is your first time reading it? And if it is not your first time reading it, how is it going this time? Hi, Catherine. How are you? I need to unpack, but first nap and read. Girl, you travel so much, and I love that for you. I need to unpack, but first nap and reading a book in Spanish in either order. Yes, very nice. I need to get on looking at local Spanish classes in my area because I need to like. I keep meaning to get back into learning how to speak it, and I keep not. Okay, see, this is a really reasonable comment, Jess. Wait, you haven't seen the Spider-Man movie before, the Marvel movie before. This is like a really really apt comment for most people. Up until Endgame, my butt was sat for every Marvel movie. Every single one. Because I am, in fact, I don't talk about it as often because Marvel pissed me off, but I am a comic book girly. I'm more a Batman girly. However, growing up, Spider-Man was one of my favorite superheroes. Peter Parker he is that boy. So no, I haven't seen any of the other Marvel movies, primarily because my people who I go see movies with are not here. And like if I'm not seeing it with people, I'm not as interested in a lot of the Marvel stuff. Because again, my main Marvel stuff was X-Men and Spider-Man. And I keep getting pissed off with how they do X-Men, so I haven't watched the new X-Men. The last one I watched was Days of Future Past, whichever one was based on Days of Future Past. But it would in fact be a little weird for pre-2020 Margaret to have not seen this. The reason I have not seen the Spider-Man movie was because I didn't go see it in theaters and I wasn't paying for it when I know that it is going to be available on multiple streaming sites for the subscription price of that streaming site. So like I have Disney Plus. I'm like, I know it's going to get on Disney Plus eventually, and I am willing to wait. I am willing to wait for that because that is who I am as a person. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but it is who I am as a person. Probably has something to do with me being a Capricorn. Julie says hello. Hopefully, starting a reread of This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me While I Run All Over the House doing chores. Okay, so this is a reread. This book has to be so good because Julie's already read this book once this year. I'm tempted to see how Spider-Man this year. I do like this version of Spider-Man. I do. I love this version of Spider-Man. I've liked all of the versions of Spider-Man. They've all had it, like they've all played, it's kind of like Batman. They've all played on different versions of Peter Parker, right? So I like this version of Spider-Man. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying Tom Holland's version, like how he's doing this. I'm enjoying Zendaya as MJ. I'm liking how they've gone back. Like they started out in his roots with him as a high schooler. And a believable high schooler. And I like that we're doing the college struggle days because, oh my God, college struggle Peter, so relatable. Like, he is my second favorite version of Peter Parker. My first favorite version of Peter Parker is struggling teacher Peter Parker. I love that version of him. But yeah, so I need to see, I do want to see it. Also, today will be video editing, and the first cut is the deepest, and reading the first cut is the deepest during sprints when I'm not laundrying. Nice. Hello, it's an Aoife. I'm cooking dinner, potatoes, chicken, mushroom, white wine sauce, and flicking between Finley Donovan #1 and the Bromance Book Club. Both hit the Buzzword challenges this month. Very nice. Hi, Melanie. How are you? I'm between books right now. I have no idea what to read next. I'm so good at this for other people. Even when I don't know anything about the book, there's usually something about the title that'll make me go, hey, that one. Do you have options you would like to give us? We can weigh in. We are happy to weigh in. I love doing that for other people. Ask me what book to choose. I have no idea. I'm going to sit in silence because I don't know what audiobook I want to listen to. It's fine. It's a problem. I understand. Got some hellos. I have not read this before. This is my first Austen. Okay. Then I'm thinking of someone else. How are you liking it? Hope you over in a Ooh, exciting. I read Pride and Prejudice, but not this one. Okay, so how are you feeling? Okay, I have feelings about some of the books in this series because it's clear that the author did not like the source material. And I'm like, why did you choose to write a book on that? Why did you choose to do an adaptation of that if you didn't like the source material in the first place? Pride and Premeditation was good, though. Pride and Premeditation and then Sense and Second Degree Murder, you could tell she really liked the story. She liked the characters. Love it. How are you feeling having, like, how is it holding up? I really liked Pride and Premeditation because I was like, this feels like what would happen if these two characters were in this situation, and I loved it. I need to learn Spanish. I go to Spain every summer to volunteer at summer camp, and I want to understand the kids. Yeah, that's a good. I live in Florida, so I want to get back to where I don't necessarily feel like I need to be fluent in Spanish, but for reasons it feels like me being able to communicate with people who speak Spanish. Like there was a point where when I was in college, because I did several Spanish classes in college as a high schooler, and then I graduated with my AA, and then I went to university. And there was a point where I had coworkers where I couldn't speak Spanish and he couldn't anymore. Like I lost most of it. He couldn't speak English very well, but we could talk to each other in our native languages and understand each other. Like we both knew enough of each other's language. Like we could listen and understand what was happening, but we couldn't actually say the words. It was a very interesting, yeah. I haven't seen any of the Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, although I'm too much of a fan of the OG trilogy, but I love Tom Holland. So let's see. Like they've both been very good. I feel like they feel very Tom Holland not so much, but like Tobey and Andrew feel very relevant to the era of comic that Spider-Man was going through at the time. Like Tobey really felt like that 90s animated series Peter Parker. Does that make sense? And then Andrew felt like the prequel to the version of Peter Parker that I was reading in the comics at the time, or had been reading in the comics previous to that. Tom, I feel like he's kind of his own thing because he's been put into the MCU. But I do like my biggest gripe with what they've done with Tom Holland. And I like this is one of the things that I liked about that I like one of the few things that like I think Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in fact is better in this area than Peter Parker's, which is that in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like in the show, he has web shooters instead of it just coming out of his arm. And they both get like the fact that Peter was a poor kid struggling. I think I'm glad we self-corrected with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, but because I kind of missed that. Like part of why Peter Parker is so relatable is because he deals with money issues a lot. And that feels very relatable as a millennial. But I've loved all of them. Because Peter Parker, he's the best. I speak fluent typo. Don't worry, Melanie. That is not even close to the worst I've ever typed, and still people understand me. It's fine. It's fine. There are, hold on, two possible. I don't know if Julie's witnessed this yet, but at least two people, possibly three people that can tell you that my spelling when I'm typing fast, I have a case of fat thumbs, real bad case of fat thumbs. I haven't seen anything past Ant-Man. I got behind after Endgame and Kneecap because of the new Adventure. Oh, well, that is, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of, again, Marvel hasn't always been my favorite, so I'm a little bit burnt out on Marvel, the MCU. Primarily because the MCU, at least, tends to focus on characters that I didn't care about in the comics. And so it's fun to see the comic book movies, but I'm primarily invested in those movies so that the characters that I did care about could be brought in. Yeah, I haven't seen anything past the last Avengers movie, and I can't remember Endgame. So technically I think Thunderbolts was the last Avengers movie, but if you're talking about like the Avengers movie with the original 6, then it would have been Endgame. I'm hit or miss with Marvel after Endgame, but Spider-Man is a must, not to mention the crowd reaction during that last movie with his brain exploding. I do miss that. I'll be reading Red and Home by G.K. Doddsey. Very nice. I fell off after the newest Doctor Strange, slightly after, but I'm curious about some of the new movie. I mean, I could get caught up if I wanted to. I've been the right to the sewing and sitting on my nightstand since April. Okay. But I'm also afraid I won't like it for some reason. Okay, so that's like actually a good reason to pick that book up, right? Because you could always DNF it. If we're like, oh, it's been sitting here since April, we could just clear that off of our shelf if we end up not liking it. And if you like it, you end up liking it even better, right? Supposed to be for some. You don't have to apologize. Hi, Christina. Hello, welcome. Yes, good reminders. Lurking and working today, trying to get all caught up on admin. I am liking Pride and Prejudice much more than I thought I would. I now plan to read the rest, maybe even one a month. She's got some really good ones. I think so. My favorites in order are Pride and Prejudice is number 1, Sense and Sensibility is number 2, and then Persuasion. Mansfield Park can be really hard for some people because that book, not a lot happens. So if you're not interested in like the inner lives of these characters, you're going to have a terrible time. I enjoy Fanny as a character because she is a very like I recognize that she's a very accurate representation of what it would have been like for a young woman in her position. So while she doesn't have a lot of stuff that she does, she is not the actor for a lot of things. It's very much like the main focus of that book is the social commentary, if that makes sense. There's a whole scene in the movie you missed out about. Like, yeah, Peter has stuff that he does. Like that, and I do like that we've taken away the Tony Stark super suit, and he's having to go back to something a little bit more primitive technology wise, because that was my biggest thing, right? Hi, Raja. Give her pet for me. Yeah. Number 3 in the new one. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it because I know what direction they've taken it. I do think it's very funny that they've done the thing, but they also like they've done it at a different point. But they've done the thing that made me quit Marvel. Because if you don't know, Civil War and specifically what they did to Spider-Man during Civil War is why I quit reading Marvel. That's why I quit reading Marvel. I was like, you guys can't get your shit together and decide whether or not Jean Grey is back or gone. At least at that point in time. Like please either let Scott decide. Please let Scott just choose. Let him choose one or the other. I don't care which one you choose at this point. Just let him choose one or the other and let him stay with because I'm so tired of this back and forth. And then there was something else that had happened. And then in the comics, they split up Pete and MJ so that he can bring a certain character back from the dead who dies in number 3, which I am aware dies in number 3. So Raja is getting all of the attention. Listen, Raja is welcome to. Raja likes to climb across the laptop keyboard while getting up on her shelf. We were both trying to type. And I love that she still hit send. I was obsessed with Shadow Sparrows last year and was so looking forward to write. So yeah, I'm sure I'll love it. I've heard nothing but good things. Oh, I understand. Oh God, fuck. Oh my God, Jen, I'm so sorry. That is the worst. Having your allergies turn into a cold. Fucking hate when that happens. It has happened to me more than once. I feel like there have been times when like my allergies acting up more than normal have been the herald to the fact that I was going to get sick. And usually it would be the herald on like a Thursday. So I hope you get better soon. I get this so hard, Melanie, because you really liked that first book and now you're scared. I think Margaret needs to close one of the blinds back behind her because look at how washed out that is. That is so washed out. What was I doing? I'll fix it later. But I fully get this. I think if I had not been officially doing like a read along with Leandra, I don't think I would have gotten to Holy Terrors in the time that I got to it, despite how excited I was, despite the fact that it's one of my favorite series because of like the pressure, right? There's a certain amount of pressure when you really love a book and then book 2 comes out, because sometimes book 2 is bad. Couldn't fall into Iron Flame as easily. I'll try it again at some point though. That makes sense. It happens. It truly does happen. We have Baco in the building. Hi, Baco. How are you? Welcome. And yes, please feel better soon, Jane. Jean, I'm sorry. I can't fucking talk today. I swear to God, I have had caffeine and I've had breakfast at this point. Do I need to eat lunch? Probably. It's fine. It's fine. I think what I need to do though is pull up. Where is, I'm sorry, I'm not trailing off on purpose. I'm going to a doctor to get this addressed, by the way, guys. The distraction and the trailing off and all of that. I do have an appointment with a psychiatrist to talk about that. We know what it probably is, but that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear you're good. What was I going? I was trying to say Jean and another word, and it just. I don't like not calling people by the correct name. I am a stickler for making sure I understand how to pronounce someone's name. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I do try my hardest because I grew up with my name being both my first and last name being mispronounced by people. And so I will be like, hey, real quick, let's make sure I'm saying your name correctly before we go any further. That doesn't change the fact that sometimes I can't even say my own name correctly. That's a whole different issue. So just trying to talk too fast, but you can usually tell when someone's doing that. I'm trying a Harlequin romance, but I think I might DNF when Mr. Grumpy Met Her Sunshine. When Dr. Grumpy Met Her Sunshine by Amy Blythe. Oh my God, that feels like that. So is this a book that is like Grumpy Sunshine, but the Grumpy is the woman? Is that what I'm getting? Is that what I'm getting? I love that. I also hate it when people call this reverse Grumpy Sunshine because it's just Grumpy Sunshine. So my last name is long and German. I've had times where because it's Stortenbecker, and there have definitely been times that I have typed Strottenbecker, or Stortnebecker, like mix the letters up when I'm typing it. I'm typically like way more about my first name because people will leave out the second A. And so I always make sure I'm like, okay, we have to make sure we get the second A so they can see that the second A is there. It's a stupid thing to be mad about. Like I'm not mad about it, but people will leave that out and I'll just be like, okay. I also pronounce my name so that when people are spelling it, it makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna do an hour for this first sprint, if that sounds good to everybody, and then we will come back and I will assess what we're gonna do when we come back from this first sprint. So yes, the grumpy one is the woman and she is a nerd, but the writing is disappointing. I am so sorry. Oh, nice. Okay, people talk about pasty. Okay, nice. We don't. Mine's 13 letters, and there is no really good. Usually, what I'll tell people is I'm like, it's a say it like you see it last name. You're like, a lot of the time people will see 13 letters and they'll overthink it, and I'll be like, hey, if you just say it the way that you think it should be said, you're probably right. And 9 times out of 10, they will be right. But let's pull up some sprints. We're pulling up a timer is what we're doing. Pulling up the timer. We're going to go for, you know what? I think with what time it is, it might make sense to go 45 for this first one. Now that I think about it, because y'all got me talking. Damn. Y'all got me talking. So do 45 for this first one. We might do 30 for the next one. Depending on what things look like. But there we go. Except that's not the I don't like that one. So we're going to put it on that. Nope, not that one. There we go. Oh, and there's no one with me here, so I can full screen it without having to worry about it doing weird things to the people on screen with me. Beautiful. Fantastic. All right, so we are going to sprint for 45 minutes. I am going to, speaking of, what book am I reading? I am currently reading, maybe let's not flash my local Five Guys on the camera. I am going to be reading Between Man and Beast, at least during this sprint, because I'm trying to make some progress in it. I want to get to at least chapter 4, I think is where I need to get to. It is a nonfiction, and I will tell you more about it when we come back, but we do need to go to a sprint because we just do. So, 3, I don't know why I'm holding the book like this. We will go in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Here we go. Hello and welcome back. I got a little distracted. Who's surprised? Raise your hand if you're surprised that I got a little distracted. But I did read a few pages. Had to go back and reread another one. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a point where I was like, what did I just read? It's because I got to the end of the paragraph and I was like, I don't think I internalized a single bit of that. So I went back and I reread it. But we read 7 pages, I think. Yeah, 7 pages in 14 minutes, which means we're doing about 2 pages a minute on this book. Do I have a bookmark? Naturally, no. So we're just going to take the receipt that I put to the side and we're going to fold it. So if I flash, actually here, we can just put that. There we go. There it is. So this is a book that I am technically supposed to be buddy reading with my friend Cal. We both forgot that we were supposed to be buddy reading it. So I am continuing to read it, but it is Between Man and Beast, an unlikely explorer and the African adventure that took the Victorian world by storm by Monty Reel. It is about the, I guess you would say, Western scientific discovery of the gorilla, because the people who lived there knew gorillas existed. They lived with them. They knew not to mess with them, yada, yada, yada. This is about a bunch of Victorian men that decided that they were going to go find this creature. It's interesting because it's taking place around the same time that Charles Darwin is starting to come up with the theory of evolution. And so you can see how that, like, they're already starting, I'm only 32 pages in, but they're already starting to kind of build the case as to why this was so important to people. So I might read a little more of this later. I do need to get some stuff done before the meeting later today. So okay, we got a few people. We have some hellos. Melanie did finally, so how did this go? Because Melanie did finally settle on a book, CJ Run by Joy Fielding. Coworker let me borrow it. I'm enjoying the first few pages so far. I'm going to lie down to read more, but if I fall asleep, I'll be back later. I felt this deep down in my soul, Melanie. Are you still with us? Have you returned, or are you asleep in this moment? We will check and we will see. Howdy, Mai. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Is it Mai or is it May? I feel like we may have discussed this before, but I want to, like we said, I want to make sure I'm saying people's name right. So, I finished today's pages of Pride and Prejudice and started the Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder. To Murder. Oh, that's a fantastic cover, my friend. I just on the cover, I'm having a good time. Do you want to work? Okay. An irresistible and thrilling debut novel, a former antique hunter investigates a suspicious death at an isolated English manor. Oh, you've got me. Embroiling her back in the dangerous world of tracking stolen artifacts. If you know anything, though, about artifacts and stuff, this makes sense. Totally makes sense. I got laundry switched over, cleaned the litter box, God bless you, worked on my video editing, and realized we're going to be at the same we're going to be at the same 5 p.m. meeting that I completely forgot about. Yeah, so I was hoping that said 5 p.m. meeting would actually be later in the day. And it wasn't. And so I just had to be like, hey, just checking, how long do we think this is going to take? Because I do have sprints that are supposed to be happening around the same time. So I just want to know how I need to schedule, not even how do I need to schedule the sprints, work around them. So, okay. Okay. So my first instinct was correct. That makes me feel good. Got to page 286 of Incidents Around the House. What is this book? Incidents Around the House. By Josh Malerman. Oh, this looks like those kinds of incidents. This has serial killer font as the cover font. I don't think that is the one I am supposed to be reading because that one is in That is entirely in Russian. I may have clicked on, I feel like I clicked on the wrong one. I feel like I clicked on very much clicked on the wrong one. Is there a different one? No. Goodreads does not have a different one. That is entirely in Russian. That is a language I have no. Can't do it. Can't do it. There's nothing there. I say that I can pronounce names. I cannot look at it and go, like, if you were to give me a sentence in Spanish, it's a horror book from the perspective of an 8-year-old. Very nice. If you were to give me like a sentence in Spanish, I could read it out and be decently correct about how it's supposed to be pronounced, but not. It is Josh Marleman. Be decently with that. Russian might as well be Greek to me. So, which I know everyone's shocked that I do not speak Greek, despite my Percy Jackson phase that's been going on my entire life. I'm apparently the author's mother was on Antiques Roadshow and wrote a bunch of antiques books. I mean, especially when you're not even talking about like antique. It sounds like we might be dealing with some like antique, like an antique that is being passed off, like an antiquity that's being passed off as an antique. And when you get into antiquities, some of the stuff that's like on the black market, shit gets real weird. Like, let's see, what is this? Okay. Shocked when she learned that an antiques dealer and her estranged mentor has died under mysterious circumstances. Not so much. She's been avoiding the quaint English hometown. Old manor. See, are all just poor reproductions? Interesting. See, like this Arthur Crockleford, he sounds like someone who amongst his antiques would have things that are actually of like true value, not just like this random chest that so and so has. He's an English author. I don't know why. It's or he publishes in English. I know that. So I don't know why mine is in Russian. I don't know what's gone on here. Hold on, let's see. Are any other books? Give me another book. Like, is my Goodreads, because the one we just looked up, that's in English. So I don't know why the description for this book is in Russian on my Goodreads. It's weird. Julie said, I did some vacuuming and did dishes. I did indeed start my reread and I'm taking notes. Oh, we're doing a video. Ooh. The weird knowledge that you gather when you're when you have my specific like brand of interests, just and listen to this podcast. I assume that this is a Goodreads is glitching. You're doing better than me because the font in chat is so small on my screen that I thought it was Mal, not my. No, it's definitely, that's definitely an I. But I am also in StreamYard on my phone. So that does help. YouTube can be a little weird. Okay, so my thought process is, I'm gonna try and get like, let's do pause. I'm thinking, here's my thought process. Like do 25, okay, so we do 25 minutes of sprint. Like if I do a 25-minute sprint, that puts us out about like 4:50. We have a minute to catch up, chit chat, and then we'll go into like a 90-minute sprint while I do my 5 p.m. meeting thing. And all of that. That feels like a reasonable thing to do. I've had Polish, Russian, and French, Spanish, Italian, all kinds of things. This stupid Goodreads kid. This is the first time this has happened to me. Jess is very supportive. I appreciate you, Jess. Okay, so let me refresh. I have the hiccups all of a sudden. We're in 25 minutes. I see books often in English or Japanese, and I'm looking at books in both of those, so it makes sense. That does make sense. My favorite is when, because I live in Florida, I will frequently get ads in Spanish and be like, cool, I understood like every fifth word there. I appreciate that you think that I am educated enough to know Spanish. I'm no longer educated enough to know Spanish, because I will get, it's always so funny because like several sites are convinced I speak Spanish and I'm just like, no, I just live in Florida. That's it. That is all it is. I live in Florida. So, anyways, let us put the timer up. We are going to stop being bitch. Here we go. We're gonna put the timer up. We're gonna sprint. And we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Welcome back, my friends. Excuse me. Hold on. Hold on. What am I sitting on? That was just bunched up weird. Okay, there we go. We fixed the cushion. How did everyone do on that sprint, my friends? Let us know in the comments. I worked on some stuff. Do I want to tell y'all? I worked on what may potentially be Fabelin for this year. That's what I'll say. I've got some idea because it's not gonna, like I said, it's not gonna be the full-on Fabelin the way it has been, but I'm thinking, I'm considering things. So, anyways, I got some ideas down because it's gonna be a lot chiller with what I'm planning on doing, and if what I'm planning on doing works well, this may be a yearly part of Fabelin in addition to like the big main readathon, but I'm trying to move where the main readathon is in the year, which means I had to make some changes to other stuff that I do and did. So yeah, like it's one of those things, I don't want to let it die. I don't want people to forget about it, but also this October can't do what I've done before. Just won't work. Does that mean moving it into the middle of hurricane season? Yes, that does mean moving it into the middle of hurricane season. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, Jess said, did more video editing, had to finagle with sound because wow, was she quiet. That happens sometimes. It'll just be randomly really quiet. I think I'm still working, like my sound is messed up because I wanted it to be a little bit louder, right? Because I can always take it down in post. So I did want it to be a little bit louder so that when I'm like talking and I get low, you guys can hear me because I know that that is a slight issue. However, Jess, that's rude. Be nice. I already addressed that. I already talked about that. I am also working on those graphics are finished. Jess, you missed that part. The graphics are well, most of them. The important graphics are finished. And I thought I started the post to post them, and in my brain that checked it off. So I realized like last week I hadn't posted them at all. They are coming. I just forgot. And now it's like, oh no, do I even want to go in and look and see what people have to say? So walked my dogs and got to page 293. We got to go where the brain goes when it goes places. So I had a late lunch / early supper and watched some of Murder, She Wrote episode. Yes, very interesting. Yes, I am aware that like Summer Reading Challenge graphics never got posted. My brain went on vacation during July. Like it was just July was a month. Like I existed, but I didn't. Oh, I'm gonna be honest, Jess. This one is a little bit of a sore spot just because of like I feel really bad about it. I do feel really bad about the fact that I forgot. And I know why I forgot, but like I hate that like I was like, ooh, yay, we're coming out of this, and then like posted the video for Summer Reading Challenge, and then my brain was like, actually, no, we're not, and fully just stopped. So like it's a little bit of a sore spot, just FYI. I did more vacuuming. Does it ever end? And move the laundry. Does it ever end? No, none of it does. Never does. Never does. I still haven't closed that window, but it is getting darker outside. Oh no. That would be really funny. That would be really funny. Hold on. Let me fix the background. Let me fix my background. And I know nobody knows that I was struggling last month, by the way, because I didn't tell anybody because it felt stupid to tell people that I was struggling. So that's not a slight on anyone, but yeah, I do really. I know you've never ever forgotten anything, Jess. Never. You definitely forgot nothing today.
I appreciate knowing that I was not alone in forgetting that that was happening. Like, I completely forgot it was happening until I started sprints, and I was like, oh, that's right. We were planning around this. So good for me. Anyways, yeah, I feel really bad about that. I'm gonna go in the Discord at some point and like fix it. I just feel like I need to get a couple of other things. The goal was to have it done yesterday and just didn't get done yesterday because my clients work I feel I swear to God, work follows me. Like they've got people, they've got a private eye watching me because every time I have something to do, like genuinely have something to do, they're like, hey, we need like 5 things. And it's just everything's settled, everything's good. But it was one of those days where I was like, I swear I cannot schedule anything. I cannot schedule anything ever because anytime I do, someone needs me. Hi, Hillary. You're just in time for us to go into a 90-minute sprint. Help. How does this work? There we go. All right, we're going to do 90 minutes. So we're going to do a 90-minute sprint just so that I'm not feeling rushed on my end. Likely, I will not need 90 minutes, but like, who doesn't love a good 90-minute sprint? Also, for anyone that just got worried, I am seeing a doctor soon for the struggling. It's just the struggling. This feels empty. Like that's all that it is this feels empty and I can't remember to do things. So I am going to diamond paint and start automatic noodle. Listen, life has been lifing hardcore. It has been lifing hardcore this year. And this is something that like I've been dealing with to some extent on and off the last few years. It's like it's always been something I knew needed addressed, but like it's gotten so frustrating for me this year that I finally was just like, okay, hey, I have to do this, and I'm actually going to make the call, which I did this month. So, anyways, hello, Ren. We're about to go into a sprint potentially. Let me see. Will skip break do what I want it to do? It does. So, anyways, yeah, and a lot of it is just burnout, and I need to go. I have to leave. I need to go head out. But real quick, I am reading Quicksand Theater Company by Molly Ringwald. Feel like I've been reading it forever, but I've been hopping. I can read, hopping between books, and I'm enjoying the book at least. That's bare minimum. That is bare minimum. Enjoying the book at least. We're gonna go into the next sprint. I will see y'all in 90 minutes. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Maybe. There we go. Welcome back, everyone. I believe that is going to be our last sprint. And I do already have it set up for where you guys can go next, depending on how long we take to talk. But, okay. I made it to page 38 in this book, so that was 6 pages. Most of that was spent chatting with people about stuff. So, anyways, let's go ahead. Hello, welcome everyone. Let's I know this was a while ago. I'm still here. The book was definitely a good pick. I was looking for something fast-paced, Melanie says. And I had a feeling I would take a nap. Hold on, I'm sitting on my jacket in a weird way. There we go. That's better. That makes sense. I've been there. I've done that. Heading out for dinner. You're very welcome for the sprints, Melanie. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much. Hi, Sadia. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. How are you today? We also got a Ben. Just got back from watching Spider-Man. Probably going to read Wolverine comics. I mean, that's a good choice. I feel like Spider-Man to Wolverine. That makes that's a what's the word, man? That makes sense as a choice. That makes sense as a choice. That's the word. So, okay. Let me close that. I don't need that anymore. And we're going to pause this because we don't need that. So, anyways, Rope does say that it was probably the best Tom Holland Spidey flick as far as where it falls on my favorites. Ask me again next week when I've had some time. I mean, I'll expect you to come and oops, I muted the site. I'm fired. I need to go unmute YouTube over on my other channel because I was in the back end kind of cleaning up my subscriptions a little bit because I've been like, I need to do that. Because there were people I'm going through, I'm like, I don't recognize these people. And then when I went to look at their channels, I'm like, they don't have anything. What has happened here? So yeah, there is that. What, can we just mark everything as red? Can we just do that so that you stop giving me this annoying thing? All right, perfect. But yeah, I didn't want it to like start talking accidentally, but I'll be excited to see this. Y'all, I expect you, Ben, if you're still here, Ben, if you are still here, I would say you should show up next week when we do sprints to let us know where does it fall. Like, what's your ranking? I did pop down. Neva's got sprints at 7, so I did go ahead and pop that down there. If you guys are looking for more, in about a half an hour, she will have some sprints. I may put us into like, depending on how quickly we go through these comments and how much we're chit-chatting, I may do one final sprint and like send y'all into like a really short one. But so I can get more of this. Like, this is a fascinating book. I'm really enjoying it. It's very, speaking of, I was going to say this, it's very much told almost like a novelization of historical events, right? There is some quoting from primary source material, but there's also a lot of summarization, you know, that kind of thing. So it's very, like, it reads very easily, if that makes sense. Like, getting through this is not difficult. It's not bogged down. As long as you're cool with like sitting and listening to historical stuff. If you are not cool with sitting and listening to historical stuff, I don't know that I can help you. But like reading through it, at least it was, because like I can give you I'll give you a snippet of, so like this is what made me think of this, because it's the beginning of chapter 7, and it says the captain's charts showed a mazy obstacle course of shallows and shoals, and an occasional westerly breeze crisscrossed the water's currents to whip up peril. Newcomers often tensed when they reached this broad estuary of the Gabon River, but Paul knew that the surf was even worse farther down the coast. Given all he and the rest of the men had endured for weeks aboard the cramped schooner, a mild bout of pitching and rolling was a more than equal trade for the promise of dry land. Like, that's probably, I would assume, summarized from journal entries that this man made, discussing like what was going on, as well as contextual evidence that the author has from studying the time period. Like I said, I am enjoying it, and it's a very good, I haven't, like, this was recommended to me by someone who majored in history and like their historical thing that they studied. Although this, I do not believe I believe this is a separate, hold on. Let me see, where is Gabon? If I'm pronouncing that right. Because I want to say, okay. And then I don't want to misspeak on this, so I want to make sure. Okay. So it's kind of, okay, that's what I thought. So this is not, so I have a friend that they studied in, they have their master's in history with a focus on Ghanaian history. And so this is still kind of like, never eat shredded, West Africa adjacent. One of these days I will learn the cardinal directions off the top of my head, but West Africa adjacent, but like they're south of where this person would have studied. But this is one of the books, I think this is one they read after their master's, but like they know what they're talking about when they're reading this stuff, and like they've read a lot of primary source materials, and they think it's really good. Made it to 83%. You are very welcome, Ren, for sprints. We will be here next week at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know whether, are we in daylight or standard time? I don't know. This is why I just say Eastern. Tennille says, finished the episode of Murder, She Wrote, managed 6 things off the to-do list, then read 2 chapters of Cushy All-Star. I need to read Cushy All-Star. I think I would like it. I made it to 43% in Automatic Noodle. I really like it so far. Very nice. Yay, Jess did finish editing her video. It's a Kiana. Welcome. Jess keeping me on my toes. Yeah, okay. EDT, Eastern Daylight Time, which I wish our Congress would do, like, I think it's Permanent Standard Time, because that is the one that has been proven to be most beneficial for everyone. Julie says, I am making dinner and made it to chapter 5. Very nice. That's not a bad bit to get through. Okay, so let me go back up. Now you're going to be a little early, because I'm just going to end a little early, I think is what we're going to do. We've been here for 3 hours. YouTube likes it when you go 3 hours or more. That's kind of like the bare minimum of when I try to do, how long I try to do sprints, because YouTube tends to like it. I do not have anything currently to plug. However, part of tonight's assignment, once we get, is to work on the graphics for the Summer Reading Challenge and get those up to you guys. And then also to sit down and figure out videos to film, because I need to do my Q3 video. That didn't get done. Like, I thought about it briefly at the beginning of July, and then I didn't do it. So now we've got to do it, and we're just gonna pretend like we did. We're just gonna roll July into Q2, even though I didn't really read any books in July. I don't think I read any books. We're gonna do it like a combination, like wrap up Q3 TBR is what we're gonna do. So, anyways, I do need to sit that. I'm sorry, Kiana. I'm very sorry. But I will be back at 3 p.m. next week. Neva's going, though, in 21 minutes. And I am sending you guys over there if you would like. You'll be there a little early. She won't have started sprinting yet. So, actually, let me see. You know, we could do 20. Let's do... I can throw y'all into a 20-minute sprint. I think that makes sense. What we'll do is we'll do a 20-minute sprint, and then it's going to immediately take you to Neva's channel. Does that sound good, everybody? 20-minute sprint. Okay. All right, let me put this up. I'm signing off, though. You will not see my face again before the end of sprints. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I will see everyone later. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.